We are back to Combat Conversation. I'm Mitchell Torres, and this is episode 5 featuring Cory Cass, former WEC champion at 155, and now you can catch him at Grappling Experience. This is a great podcast, guys. If you love MMA and you love grappling, we go on a route through history, so hope you brought your notebook. Check it out. What is happening, podcast listeners? This is the Combat Conversation, and I'm Mitchell Torres alongside
Jason Probst.
And our guest today, Cory Cass from Grappling X, former WEC champion, pre-Zuffa days. What's going on, man?
Good. Just had a long car ride up from Southern California, come up here to Sacramento to get ready for our event this weekend.
So how does a former WEC champion get into the grappling events?
Well, the truth is, so I had a gym.
Right.
And, I opened a gym in 2004. Mm-hmm. And I would take my students to all the local tournaments in Southern California. And I didn't like the events because they didn't run. I came from wrestling, and all the wrestling events ran on time and formal and like they were organized. And I noticed that a lot of the tournaments were biased.
Right.
If you're a part of this team, you won.
Right.
If you weren't part of that team, you didn't win. So I got tired of it, and so I just started off with hosting in-house events.
Right.
I cranked out about 50 in-house events before I did the first real event in a building. Yeah.
Right.
And so it was just really out of, you know what, I need to provide a safe place for people to compete that's fair and runs up. We try really hard to run on time.
Oh, and you guys do. You keep people up to date on what's happening, keeping it moving.
Yeah,
that's good because I did your last event here, and it was probably one of the smoothest tournaments I've been to.
Yeah,
and I was
this
like,
one's gonna be even more.
And I like your guys' setup right now, man. All new mats, man. You guys look pretty sick.
Well, okay, so if we're gonna go there, in 2013, we had all of our equipment stolen.
Wow.
So our trailer, yeah. That's why I'm kind of a freak. I got the trailer parked outside here at the hotel, and so we had a trailer. We had like a 30-foot enclosed trailer with all our mats. We had Dollamar mats and barriers and all that stuff. And it was parked behind my gym. And one night, someone just pulled up, hooked it up, and drove off with it.
Wow.
And so we lost $75,000 in that one night. And insurance found every way not to cover it. So it took me 5 years to raise the money to get the equipment back.
Wow.
So we just got all those new mats in December. So the first events we done, that was the first time. The third event in March 10th up here was the third time we even used the equipment.
Yeah, I like your day and weigh-ins early too.
It's important, I think, because you got to realize that there's multiple ways to do an event. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got to realize that these are pre-amateur competitions.
Right.
People put so much like, oh, I'm going here and I'm going there, and that's actually why when we came up with the name, grappling, because grappling is ground fighting.
Right.
It doesn't really have it's not specific. Doesn't matter if you're wrestling. You can come and wrestle if you want. If you follow the rules, you can wrestle. You can do judo. That's a grappling arts. And then experience, because we go by Grappling X for short, but the actual name is Grappling Experience because I wanted you to come and get an experience.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with, you need to pay $100 to get a sword. I mean, that's cool. I can sell you a sword, if you want a sword.
Nice.
And stand there for 12 hours. But, it's not about that. It's about, my kid's going to come in there. We're going to get the best matchups I possibly can. I can't control everything because I can't control who signs up.
Right.
But we're going to get the best matchups we can.
Right. And you know what? A lot of the guys that we train with that are pretty high-level dudes, they were there. And I was like, man, I didn't know what to expect of that first.
I had over 50 to 100 black belts come and tell me, my first event was your event.
Wow.
Yeah, people that are winning the worlds now and stuff.
Really?
In the black belt, getting up there. Might be masters and stuff, but they're like, your first event, my first event was your event.
Cool.
Like you came to Fresno in 2008,
Yeah, and you had some of the who's of the Sacramento area at your tournament just there
because
coaching.
I'm a non-biased. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter where I come from, what gym I come from. They don't know. a lot of these affiliates here don't even know that I am part of, like, deep down the line, the same team.
Yeah.
Because I fly a non-biased tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, when I don't use my students to ref,
Right.
my students competing, my students reffing, I don't do that.
Right.
Like, so what I do is I try to find certified black belts. My scoring is just a hair different, but I try to find real refs, and then just try to run a fair event.
Okay. For a second, before you get back into the grappling experience talk, you got into MMA. Why?
Okay, so in '86, I started wrestling.
Okay.
Okay. My brother was training, and I was from Utah. I'm from Utah, and so, like, there's not much to do.
Mm-hmm.
Cale Sanderson was of that same time. I watched him win all of his state championships.
Wasatch High School.
Yeah, I'm from Southern Utah, but he's from Northern. Yeah. He's from Heber City, Utah.
Yeah, that's where my family's from.
Yeah, I love it up there. We go to Park City and go skiing and all that stuff. I love Heber City. You go to the school and it still says home of Cale Sanderson. You see it, you go. I drive by there, I'm like, hey, dude. Yeah. So I watched his family, his brothers, all that. They were a little bit older than me. Cale was 1 year older than me, but I was in Southern. But it's in the state though. Like it's not like here.
Right.
You're like. So when these kids are like, oh, man, I had to get in the car and drive 30 minutes to go to a tournament. I was like, oh, man, you don't know. We had to go like 5 hours through the snow and like slide off the road. So my family grew up in California but moved to Utah. So I was the first one born there. And so my mom didn't know about wrestling, but she facilitated it. So like I liked it, so she took me. So before I got into high school, I had 500 matches or more.
Wow.
But I didn't feel like I had even started. Like, I didn't feel like it was a lot of matches. I just like, oh, I love it. You got to go fight every weekend. You can
Right.
fight. That's the way I kind of looked. It was like a fight without getting in trouble.
That's a good way to look at it.
It was a freaking fight. You don't think wrestling's a fight, dude.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, man, that's why almost UFC champion's a wrestler that learns how to box. So, the truth was, in '93, I worked at a baseball card shop, and I loved baseball cards and stuff. And so then Ken Griffey Jr. got drafted '89, and then I loved baseball. And then in '94, '95, when they went on strike, I was devastated.
That's what happened to me. That's the exact thing that happened to me.
Dude, I was so bitter.
Yeah, I
was
stopped
14
watching
years
baseball
old.
because of that.
Oh, right at that age, too.
And I was like, Ken Griffey Jr. is going to break the home run record this year. Ken Griffey Jr. is going to break the home. And they went on strike. What else came out in 94? 93, 94.
Right, UFC.
UFC 2, I started watching. Because we were already watching boxing.
Right.
My dad was a hardcore boxing fan. I still got the tickets from Barrera Morales 1 and 2.
Wow.
We went to them.
Those are good ones. Ooh.
February
partaked-
2000.
I got them on the desk.
I was at
right
that
there.
fight.
You
Dude.
were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah, I love it. So we were watching. So I remember like in 88, 89 or whatever it was. Like I didn't go because I was too young, but my parents went to outside of Vegas to watch the closed circuit of Tyson Spinks. So like they were a hardcore into boxing. My dad still doesn't like UFC, but he loves boxing. And so I don't even know how we watched the first UFC or the second one. Watch the second one, watch the first one. And I think it was just from the local the little Radio Shack had videos and we watched the tape.
That's how people. If you didn't have a black box,
94?
that's how you got it, man.
What's that?
I was in the country,
Yeah,
so
if
we
you
didn't
had
have
the
the
black
black box. And so
Knew a dude that knew a dude.
Yeah, you get the black. You know that guy?
I got the video. I got the video
Yeah.
of UFC 2. I was 13, 14, and me and my buddy went out in the backyard and strangled each other.
Yeah.
That first, we just walked out there and started strangling. So at that same time, baseball went on strike. I said, forget any team sports. So
Right.
I dropped them all, pretty much. And then, but I stayed wrestling. I didn't realize, though, we had, in our area, in the little town we grew up in, we had a judo club, but I thought it was karate because they wore the gi.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get a chance to go watch what they were doing. So I didn't start judo because I thought there was karate. And I was like, I'm a wrestler. So kept wrestling, wrestle all the way through. And then I was pretty good. I did okay, my junior year, I was like 47-4 going into state. There was a kid who was a 3-time state champion, beat me, and he won senior nationals out of Utah that year. And he beat me 3 times, and then a 2-time state champion of Arizona beat me. And then I went to state, got infantigo. It messed me up. The trainer's like, you can't wrestle. I ended up taking 5th, whatever. I was ranked 2nd, take 5th. And then my senior year, I got 3 matches in, blew my knee out. I hit through, so I was in the rank number 1, and I just finished it off. So I was like, well, a lot of stuff happened. And I was like, all right, well, I'm done. I don't care. Whatever. Go to college. I was kind of over it because of weight cutting.
Mm-hmm.
I was so burned out. Don't make your kid cut weight.
Right.
Just if you want your kid to stay in the sport, don't cut him weight. And that's all it was. That's the only thing that's ever burned me out was cutting weight. And then, my junior year, I was 125, 130 pounds, still making 103.
Wow.
Because that was the weight classes then,
Jeez.
I would come in every day, still 5 pounds overweight. And they're like, you got to make it. And I made it every single time, never missed weight.
Bunch of spitting.
No.
Damn.
That's why my teeth are messed up from the spitting, yeah. Because you suck on candy and spit.
Yeah, that's what
My
it is.
teeth are
Jolly
jacked
Rancher.
up.
Jolly Ranchers
Yeah.
and spitting.
Just put plastics on the run. Shut up and roll up in the mat. Go. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. It's that. So when these people miss weight, whatever. That's why any real wrestler ain't missing weight.
Right.
Until the end of their career when they can't cut weight anymore.
Yeah, we were just actually having a
I can't cut
conversation
weight.
about weight cutting.
I can't cut weight.
Yeah.
I get sick.
Wow.
I can cut it. I'll make it. Next day I'm like flu.
Damn it.
Yeah, I cannot cut weight. That's why I didn't fight the lower weight classes. And they didn't have them then. too.
Yeah.
I came in. Okay. So fast forward. Now I'm in northern Utah, 98. I'm in college right outside of BYU. I didn't go there. I went to the Utah Valley. It was state college there. Now it's Utah Valley University. They have an amazing wrestling program now. Okay. So they actually beat OSU, OU. One of them this year. Utah State beat one of the Oklahomas.
Right.
I look it up right now. But so I get there. I get to Provo, and we lived at the little apartments, and right across the street there was a little gold gym, and I'd go in there and I'd work out and we'd hang out and stuff. And this kid kept coming up to me. He's like, "Hey, you wrestled, right?" "Yeah." "Hey, they're starting a new club right up the road at the high school." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll come wrestle with you guys. I love it." And so I went up there, and it was all the Sandersons. I walked in there, and his uncle, his grandfather, father, dude, I was like, I just walked in there. I was like, oh my God, this is the breeding ground for wrestling. And so they end up starting the program at UVU later, a few years later. So I walked in there, and like Siler Sanderson, all these kids are in there. His like Kel's little brothers and stuff are in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and his cousins are on there. So I'm like, oh yeah. So I just start wrestling every day again. I'm like, cool, back wrestling. And then at that same time, I'm coming down the road, and I'm like, oh, there's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu place. So I just go in there. And
Fabio?
no, I'm guessing, because I actually don't know who it was, but it was a Pedro Sauer affiliate.
Yeah, he's the guy that trained Mark Schultz.
Well, Pedro
Trained
was
with
not there, though.
Oh, he wasn't? Okay.
Was not there.
Okay.
No, I would remember him. But I just went in there, and it was just a younger Brazilian dude. And to be honest, he was like, your wrestling isn't going to work. And he was just a dick. Instead of taking a wrestler and go, damn, you got a top game, let me teach you the bottom, he just wanted to try to armbar me. So I made it as long as I could, but he wanted $250 a month. I'm a college student.
And what year was that?
Then?
98.
Damn.
98.
Damn. Selling
So-
the secret sauce.
That's a car payment back then.
That's a car
That's more than a car payment.
with insurance.
More than a car payment for a college kid.
Woo.
That's funny.
So I went as long as I could. Okay, so then I started training jiu-jitsu 98. So I wrestled from 86 to 2000 because I keep wrestling. But in 98, I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like formal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, so and then I trained for a little bit there for a few months, and then back, and then we're we're still training the whole time. And then I went back to Southern Utah, and I started coaching wrestling at the high school I went to. And then my dad had a heating and air company there, and I ended up getting married and having a kid right at 19 years old. And I didn't want to be there anymore. So I actually went on vacation to San Diego. We went to SeaWorld, and my grandparents lived right outside of Temecula. And so I was like, wow, I like this place. It's kind of like St. George. It's not much different than Southern Utah. And so my daughter's mom, the one that was in here earlier, my daughter, we just moved. I just moved to Temecula.
Oh wow, just like that.
A month later, I was in Temecula. End of 2000, beginning of 2001. Okay, so we get there, and I'm working, doing all that thing, doing heating and air down there. And my parents go, "Oh, you're not going to take over the family business we've had open since 1980." They moved it down there too. So the whole family just moves down there. And then my daughter's mom ends up taking off back to Utah. So I'm stuck in Southern California by myself now. I'm just like here in the house by myself. I'm driving along. We had already went to, because Saboba's right there. And so that's where King of the Cage started. So me and my dad had already went and watched one. I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. And so I was driving along the street, and I seen a King of the Cage banner in the building. And I was like, I walked in there, and I, just like this, I was like, dude, I love this stuff. I would love to fight. I didn't mean like right now. The guy seriously picks up the phone. I've never had a striking class yet. I've wrestled and done some jiu-jitsu.
They'll get you a fight.
Oh yeah, they will.
Got me a fight right there.
They will.
Oh, hey, I got how he goes, hey, how much you weigh? 145. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. When? Hey, are you available in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was my first fight.
Yeah,
And I fought. Yeah. I go there, dude weighs 185.
Of course.
Yeah.
Boss Ruten's in his corner.
Oh, there you
And
go,
the
man.
dude, I did a fine until I gassed. Almost kicked my freaking head off. I was never a shooter. Like I wrestled the more standing up style.
Right.
Like that Midwest where they stand up and walk at you style.
Uh-huh.
Because I couldn't shoot because of my knees. That was the first double leg I ever shot in my life.
Oh, really?
That dude took my head off
Well,
and I shot.
I've seen videos of you doing the rush.
I was like, quick. I just went, vroom, and shot. So I did all right for, I don't know, 2 minutes and then gassed and he swept me and beat me up. And then what was crazy is...
And there's no amateur at that time. It's amateur nothing. You're fighting.
I got
Yeah.
$50.
Yeah, you
So
get.
you're a pro. I got $50.
You probably threw
I got
some
my-
sweet buffet vouchers there, didn't
No,
they, or
hell
anything?
No, you had to feed yourself.
man.
You didn't even get gas money.
Saboba.
No, I didn't fight at Saboba. I fought at Coahuila Creek on top of the mountain. It's outside of Temecula, up in the mountains.
Oh wow.
The cheapie under the teepee, out
Oh,
there.
that's crazy.
So it was a Mark Hall show. It was a Cobra Fighting Championships.
Okay.
Okay. So then, actually, what I have online isn't the real record. I cranked out probably 10 to 15 fights in under 2 years. We were fighting every weekend.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Boom, 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 back to back. Because they were like smokers, if you really think about it.
And that's what I was talking to Jason about because I did smokers and
I
I
didn't
did
do
I did 2 in one day. I was like, you're good?
Oh,
this guy,
no,
this guy can't
no.
do it. Okay, yeah, I'll do it.
I fought a pro fight and showed up and it was a tournament.
Yeah.
I found out when I got there. They flew me into Monterrey, Mexico and told
Oh,
me when
shit,
I
really?
got there was a tournament. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And paid me in pesos.
Oh. Do the math.
300
Right,
bucks
right.
in pesos. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got
That
a
was
calculator.
I was like, okay, all right.
You're all
Whatever.
2,000 pesos.
Victor Dahlia did those
Yeah,
ones for
man.
me. The dude that with Eddie Bravo?
Yeah.
He'll still tell you the
Oh.
story. Yeah. Those guys paid me in pesos like 4 a.m. That was great, dude.
That's the best time. You up? Here's your money.
I just sit in the lobby like, oh my gosh. So I cranked out a grip load of fights in a short amount of time. I did okay, but I didn't have a coach we weren't. Me and my buddy would go train in his garage. Really, I mean, like I was training at a gym. Nothing against him; he was an amazing guy, but he wasn't. He didn't have maybe our best intentions.
Oh, yeah.
He just wanted to fight. He just wanted people to fight. And that was cool. And that was a sport like that. So really what happened was my coach, Javier Vasquez, was a King of the Cage champion at 155 at that time. Okay. And I wasn't with him. And I fought one of their guys. And then I fought again. And then he comes up to me. This is probably, I would say, end of 2001. I mean, I cranked out a grip load of fights in a short amount. There was probably like
in 2001 too. That's the
Yeah, it's a dark period.
these were
man.
crazy,
Especially
though.
California.
Okay, think about this, okay?
You're on there.
Take every one of the the future UFC champions were in those
Yeah.
cages.
Right.
Rampage, Rashad,
Yeah.
like everybody was. all
Rampage
those-
wearing a singlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was there watching Dwayne Ludwig kick Shad Smith. Freaking Shad had the cutoffs and these were if you
yeah.
got set up, you got slaughtered.
Dude, I have a lot of those fights on DVD, dude.
Yeah.
They're
They were
blank.
bad.
They're blank DVDs.
Dude was
But
like,
I got
hey,
tons.
You know what?
Yeah.
I make a joke. Okay, it was Fight Club. Okay?
Yeah.
It was 100% Fight Club.
Totally.
And if you didn't listen to the rules, it was your fault.
Yeah.
What's the last rule of Fight Club?
Don't talk about it.
No. That's the first rule. What's the last rule? If this is your first night, you have to fight.
That's right.
That's Fight Club.
Even if it's raining.
Doesn't matter. I was
Wet
there,
and Wild.
Wet and Wild.
Wet and
I was
Wild.
at Wet and Wild. That was King of the Cage 8.
Right.
Wet and Wild. No, I was there. Okay, so that's the thing is you don't realize that if you showed up to the rules meeting, you had to fight.
Right.
Pretty much, it was pretty much that way. Unless you were just a pansy. Okay.
Right.
So I probably cranked out, besides one fight in there, the closest matchup was probably 35, 40 pounds difference.
Wow.
In those first 10
The
fights.
closest.
The closest.
So
like
that California MMA
Yeah.
100
no, this
Pre-athletic commission, right?
no. This is I never fought under the athletic.
Yeah, because it's legal at
Yeah,
0506, right?
two-
06.
Yeah.
The very first
You're on the
legal
res.
show.
Frank Shamrock, Caesar, Gracie.
What's the second one?
No, a second one is
Total Combat the next night in San Diego,
Yeah.
Del Mar. Oh, nice. We're gonna do this one, huh? I lived it every day.
You're at the whims of the res. And
Well,
the likes of the,
well,
the
okay.
Teds and Terrys of the world in the
No,
bathroom
but see,
scale.
you got to realize that they weren't all on the reservation, though.
Yeah.
You got to realize that all these shows were not just on the reservation. They were in Huntington Beach.
Oh,
They
those
were
type of shows. Yeah.
those technically were pro shows too.
Yeah.
Those are half of them on the record.
That's
Or okay.
This is true. Like sort
Or-
of the dubious smoker gray area.
No, they didn't call them smokers. They were not smokers.
How did they were they underground?
Entertainment.
Entertainment. With the some of them had the script, but not all the time.
No, they did, but they didn't.
The-
That's where they got themselves in trouble because
Yeah.
the script didn't get followed because nobody
yeah,
got told the
that-
script.
that's the thing.
So
Yeah.
someone got bam.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was scripted, but the loser would win. The loser on paper
accidentally, because they thought they were predetermined. Like, okay, I set this matchup up. Okay, so and so, Aaron
Yeah.
Brink, is gonna knock this dude out. Oh crap, he got submitted. Oh, but like,
Yep.
change the script.
Yeah.
Like, type of
So,
stuff.
and this is in it because this
This
is like
is
a whole
real.
sub
This
deal.
is
I did.
real.
Yeah.
Were they saying it was scripted so they could do it that way that the authorities would say,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
they're
it's a
making
bunch of tattooed
It's
jackasses
a-
doing whatever, let them
It's
do. It's entertainment.
Yes.
But really, everybody was on the wink wink.
I might be wrong, but I swear John Lober has
Yeah.
put out a mini documentary about this.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that.
He might have put out, and it goes into a lot of the stuff about him, about because he was
Yeah.
kind of. These were all the Huntington Beach guys running this
Yeah.
stuff. They the Born to Fight stuff and all that stuff, and that's what it was. Is like then they would go and like pretend like they're wrestling in the cage and it's pro wrestling,
Yeah.
and then leave and it's like, all right, it's back game on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go into the rated shows too. I'll go in when the shows got rated because I was there. I was fighting that night. And then, so fast forward, Javi comes up to me right after a show and goes, hey, you know what, dude? All right, here's the real. You have something I can't teach. You have heart. I can teach you all the rest. And he hands me a card, and it's Millennium Pomona. And I'm like, dude, I work in La Habra, or I work in Laverne. That's right by Pomona. The next day I was sitting there with watching the Killers. I didn't realize where they all were. They're right there, just right down the road. So then I went in there, and I was there every single day for 2 years.
Damn.
Now, what happened was, it's kind of like, rites of passage. You go in there, they assume everybody's going to quit, so they beat the brakes off of you. Yeah. And then, the top upstairs, and it was like a training mat, like where people were rolling stuff. And then down in the basement, the dungeon, you walk in, and it was a fight. Those fights in there were better than any King of the Cage fight.
I
That
bet.
the old school guys don't talk about it. There are no pictures. There are no videos. Well,
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Like, those fights were 10 times harder. That's why when you go to the old school guys and go, who would win in a fight between, name it, Quentin Jackson and Dan Henderson, or this and this and this and this and this and this. Well, everybody watched it, so everybody knew. So before it even happened, everybody already knew. We watched it every day. And so, like, I remember the first day I got to go down to the dungeon, the kickboxing coach walks up and goes, "Hey, Casper, we have a odd number. Do you want to come down?" And I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, I got to go down there." And then it was a fight.
Damn.
And so this is the truth. And I actually have never told this to anybody, like, just besides a joke, is, so, you know Romy, Aram?
Yes, I do.
Romy was like, he would run the practice and stuff. And Javi was so scary at that time, and he was such a dick, that he would do no tap matches. He'll laugh if he hears this. Because what he would do, like, you didn't get a tap. You didn't get a tap. There was no tap. We weren't doing submissions. Boom, boom, boom. Hit you. No tap. This is a no tap match. And so they'd trap you like, who's your daddy? Arm behind your head. And like this. And just punch you in the face. And I'm like, dude, tap. No, there's a no tap match. You got to get out.
The Big Brother beatdown.
Yeah. So what I figured out was that it was safer to go with Dan Henderson than Javi.
Oh, shit.
And so I'd line myself up against the wall, and I'd go, A-B. All right.
How bad is that if you want to get Dan Henderson?
Over Javi. That's how bad he beat me up. And so I would go, all right, Javi's going to be an A. I got to put myself as an A. All right, all the B's get on the ground. And then it'd be like, Bob Lou jumps in your guard. Ready? Marco who else or old school. And the elbow comes right to your face. Boom!
Jeez.
And you're like, dude, I didn't know I was getting elbowed too. Full, you're just surviving.
Damn
I got the brakes beat off of me. And so I would just hold on and try to survive. And then get the nod at the end. All right, you survived.
Nah.
And that's how that room was. Okay. So fast forward back to the scene of MMA. If you wanted to crank out 100 fights in a year, you could. Whatever you wanted, you could do. Because every single night there was another fight. And like you said, if you wanted to leave and go from a fight to a fight to a fight, they were like smokers.
Right.
And they were everywhere. Wow. They were everywhere. So Mark Hull was running shows out of that Temecula area. And that's where, like, Scott Adams and all those guys were taking Jason Vaughn Flew and all those guys down there and fighting them. That's where they were getting a lot of experience. And so he ran a whole bunch of shows. He ran them out of the little country bar, the Stampede. He ran them up to the casino. And then they had this nightclub that they were running them out of, too. It's called the Edgewater. And so what happened was, finally, it was starting to come down. But they didn't get you for fighting because there was no commission. Mm-hmm. Who was going to get you?
Cops?
No. You had to do something else. ABC. You sold alcohol. Or something like that. That's how they got you. So you watch them, all of a sudden you look out and like, oh my gosh, there's the whole squad across the street. And here it comes. And they just pulled in. They didn't care about the fighting. They just said, go home.
Damn.
All right, pull everybody out, go home. And whoever got in trouble for what, was what it was. Cops came, took him, left, whatever. Whatever happened, I don't know. I do know, but it doesn't matter. Okay, that's his story. Okay, so then that was probably 2002. And then, so after that, then it came a little bit, then they started cracking down just a little bit. If they could catch you. Mm-hmm. If they could catch you, they started cracking a little bit. I don't remember exactly what time Armando Garcia came in, because then he kind of went after it a little bit. That's pre that time before the commission really started up.
Right.
Because they were unfunded. Like, it wasn't illegal, but it wasn't legal.
Yeah. I remember
it wasn't
like a gray
legal,
area. It was like nobody
but it
really,
wasn't illegal.
Yeah. Everybody knew that it was going to happen eventually, but it was kind of this weird gray
so
area.
So that's why, okay. So how they got all those people that continue to do those, they're like, we're not going to get you now. But because you didn't take it all to the casino and you kept doing that, we'll never give you a license. So if you actually go back, a lot of those promoters, I'm not going to call them out who is their names, but they can't get a license. So that's why you see a lot of those old school promoters dropped off.
Yeah.
Because the commission went, I remember. I remember. I got the cease and desist letter from them.
Wow.
I actually didn't get it. It went to everybody else, and I went, all right, I stopped.
Yeah.
Because we were running them too
Sure.
later. But once it started going around, I went, ooh, you know.
That's a smart move, right?
I just knew it was coming down. So now the scene had kind of changed a little bit. And it went to the casinos, and then a lot of the promoters actually just started running out at TJ. So you had a grip load of promoters promoting out of TJ. So you had Total Combat down there. You had Rito Maximo. You had all these different fights running out of TJ. So they'd go to like the clubs, Tangaloo, Baby Rock. They'd go to Rosarito, and they'd run shows. So what I figured out was I could make, because I was only getting $50, $100 at the most for a fight. So I figured out that, hey, I can go fight, make $2,000 selling clothing there. I'll set up a booth. I will sell. If you let me have a booth for free, I'll fight for free.
Wow.
And so I started.
Smart.
And I wasn't selling my own gear. I'd go buy Tap Out or whatever. And so I started retailing at the local shows, so I could at least make some money, because there was no money to be made.
And that's a good way to think about it back then.
There was no money to be made.
Outside the box, man.
So I realized that I could make more money scalping tickets. The palace is still trying to catch me, And so, because I would hold all the tickets till they were sold out, and I'd stand out front and I'd sell them,
Right.
for double the face value, and they'd come and I'd be whoop, dip out. Okay, so I don't do it anymore. I don't have time, but so the scene had changed, and so now, like, you weren't fighting as much at these local shows, okay?
Right.
And so by that time, now up to this time, I was 100% no-gi. I was solely no-gi, because those were all Carlson Gracie guys. If you look at those Carlson Gracie senior guys, like Vitor Belfort, all those guys. Okay, so Javi and those guys are under Rodrigo Maderos, which is senior. And so they had already dropped the gi. Like, no, I know, never seen anybody train with a gi on there. And so I didn't realize that anybody was belted. So I didn't even realize there was a belt. So I just went by like, are you good or not?
Right.
That was it. Are you good or not? And so you had to kind of watch a little bit and go, is this dude good or not? And so then that's how you rolled with them. So then I switched jobs, and I came actually to Fresno. I moved to Fresno. And I tried, I moved to Visalia. I got a refrigeration job doing, commercial refrigeration, industrial. And I just looked for the dude with the tap-out sticker on his truck.
That's what you used to do.
That's what you used to do.
Because I knew that dude trained.
Yeah.
This was 02, 03. This was 03.
And you knew that
02.
that dude knew somebody you knew.
He had to.
He had to.
How did he get that sticker?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
that?
being at a mall, like, where you get that shirt from?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, okay, I know. Like, that's how you meet up with people that train.
Mitchell, yeah, I know him, man. Yeah.
No, we're going to do that. Okay, so Tap Out Dan, him and Fight Gear, they had a retail store in Pomona in a storage unit that opened on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock. Yeah, 100%. This is real. And you could go there and get your Pride gear and all your stuff. Yeah, so that's how hard it was. Unless you went to a fight, or there was no internet sales.
If you got a Tap Out shirt, most likely you got it at the fight.
You did. You had to
Yeah.
Or you're a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
You got it from a tournament.
Yeah.
You went train. Okay. So I moved here, or moved not here, Elk Grove or Sacramento, Fresno, and I found a guy. I go, where do you train? And he drove me to the facility. And I went and I looked and I was like, okay, they're open on this time and this time. And I walked in there. And so I thought everybody was MMA. Me personally, I thought everybody fought MMA. So I went in there thinking, okay, we're going to fight. That's how it was. You walked in and you fought. And then I got there, and they're gi jiu-jitsu. They're, Chingina, however you want to say it. The dude that runs UFC programs down south. He was originally Gracie
I know
Baja.
you're talking.
He was originally Gracie Baja, way before Gracie Baja even came to USF. So it was his affiliate school, and big purple belt. He owned it, and he goes, "How long you train?" I've been rolling for, jiu-jitsu for 6 years. What belt are you? I'm a no-gi guy. Okay, here's a gi. Throws me a gi. Go with him. It's our purple belt world champion that went to Brazil. This is back when if you wanted to compete in the Mundials,
you had to go
to Brazil. And he just went down to Brazil and he won the Mundials at purple belt. And that was my first roll in a gi. But if you can roll, you can roll.
Yeah.
Did I get tapped? No.
Nice.
No, because no, hell no. If you can roll, you can roll. Look at did they not say the Schultz brothers could roll?
Oh yeah.
They were like, dude, these dudes could roll. They didn't have to be. Don't get caught up in the that's a twister, that's a wrestling guillotine.
Yeah.
We're all doing the same thing. Whether you want to call it a hammerlock, a Kimura, American, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't change the technique just because you change the uniform.
I noticed that a lot in
Eric
no-gi.
Paulson is the one that can do this.
Oh.
Holy cow. He'll be like, in 1985. Look, dude,
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude. Yeah.
That, dude.
It's like, okay. So that's when I realized, that it didn't matter. If you can roll, you roll. So I rolled there for a little bit. Things didn't work out. I actually ended up at Pacific Martial Arts in Fresno.
Okay.
With the Camarillo affiliate. And so then it worked out perfect because I actually wanted to train with Cole Escovedo because I wanted to see what level I was. Okay.
Kid.
Yeah. So then because up until this point, I'd never got to compete, train, or fight anybody my size. Because I was only 145, 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Walking around. So I didn't even cut weight. And so then I got to see what level I was at. And then I realized that, man, Cole's good, but there's also other Evangelises and all that.
Billy Evangelista.
George was better.
Oh,
to
shit.
me, he was. His brother was unbelievable at wrestling.
I remember because I'm from
Holy
the Central
cow.
Valley too. I used to live in Los Banos.
Okay.
That's where I was born. So sometimes Channel 30 News, there's an event going on, and you're gonna see some of these guys like,
Oh my
and the
gosh,
news,
they were
the
killers.
news don't even know what they're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
we're
If
here
you want
with
the best story,
That's a good
take
story.
all the Central Valley guys and put them together. Doug Marshall. I was there. Doug
the
Marshall's
Rhino.
first class.
You know what?
I was there. And his father walked in and he goes, he's the wizard. You ever seen him? The old guy with the
No,
beard?
I've never seen
He's
him.
all, Doug, he wants to fight.
You know what?
Doug will laugh. I was there, Doug's first class. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to tell people that like
They were
Central
killers.
Valley
Yeah.
MMA is some real shit.
No, dude, that's some serious like.
Dude, okay. Which story you want? Do you want the local guys or do you want who came to fight them?
Right,
The
yeah.
local guys were killers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ended up being killers.
Yeah.
So now I'm up there and I'm training with all the time with the gi on. Just finally put the gi on. And then so everywhere I kind of went is everybody's like, hey, I want to belt you. I want to belt you. And I was like, ooh, now this is problem. So how I did not get belted is I'd never show up for promotions. So that's how I avoided it. Because I was like, ooh, I have an instructor. Javi's my instructor. So I went from white to 2 stripes on my black belt under the same instructor. That's how I did it. That's how I avoided it. Is I would cross-train. Javi was cool with me cross-training everywhere. But I just would never show up to anybody's belt promotions. So I never was it. I didn't have to get put in that situation. One time, I had one of the top-level Brazilian coaches try to belt me. He was an MMA jiu-jitsu guy at back when, before Robert Pittman died, when they used to do, they had the LA Fit Expo and then the MMA worldwide in the booth and all that stuff. One of the Brazilian coaches tried to belt me, and I go, you know what, dude, seriously, it's an honor. Thank you. But I can't take it. There's no possible way. Because I had to be belted under Javi. So I trained up here for a full year, and then I saved up actually a whole bunch of money, and I moved back to Temecula and I actually opened a retail store. I didn't open a gym. I opened, and what it was I liked to fight, so I was selling fight gear, and we sold nutritional supplements. So Fight Lab, that's where it came from. And so I actually opened a retail store, and I was teaching jiu-jitsu at a local martial art gym there. And so from there, I wasn't making any money retailing. There was no money, and there was nobody training. This was end of 03, beginning of 04. And there was nobody training, not enough to, look at OTM stores don't even make it now.
Yeah.
And the sport's
on
big.
the mat, people don't even know.
make it now.
Yeah.
So I was on the mat. So I had opened up probably about 2 years before On the Mat had opened.
Damn.
And so what I started doing, I was retailing, and then I go, I can't make no money. But man, my classes over at this place are freaking big. So I just cut my store in half, threw a mat down and started teaching. But what happened at the end of 04, beginning of 05, Ultimate Fighter came out.
Right.
Oh, dang, get on full ride. Froome. Okay, so I'm still fighting as much as I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Someone call up, go, hey, do you want to fight? Who is it? Yeah, I'll do that fight. 2-day notice, 5 days. I actually never lost a fight on less than a week notice. Really? The shorter I took it, the better I did.
Wow.
Because I didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah.
I'd go there and win every one of those. But then I had a month or two to think about it, and I'd lose. And it was like, dude, whatever. So the turning point in my career for fighting was I went in 03 and I fought in Monterrey, Mexico. And because up until then, I had kind of messed myself up mentally because I'd fought a lot growing up in the little farm town I grew up in. But there you had to fight till, you had to fight.
Mm-hmm.
There was not a referee. So once the referee came, then I was like, oh, you could get out. So it actually, and then also with the fighting too big of people, messed me up too, because then I was like, maybe I'm not that tough. And so it kind of messed me up. So it took me a long time to get out of that. It took me probably 3 or 4 years to get out of that mentality.
Wow.
Where I wasn't kind of that fear. Chael talks about it too, but it's that, I call it the good enough theory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your buddy's high five. Yeah, you're winning that fight. That was good enough. You're winning until you lost.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that was good enough. Good enough. And so what happened was Paul Herrera and Victor Dahlia were doing a show in Monterrey, Mexico. And they flew me down there and I fought. I went by myself with nobody so that I could just clear my mind and fight. And that was when the turning point happened.
Wow.
The dude on the plane, because I was always wild puncher and I'd throw hard punches. So on the plane, he's like, hey, let's do a ground fight. And I'm like, why are you afraid to get hit? That's in my mind. I'm like, I don't know where the fight's going to take place. Like, I'm just going to fight. Yeah.
That was your opponent that said that?
Yeah, we're sitting side by side on the plane.
And let's make it a ground fight?
Let's make it a ground fight.
Love
Because he
it,
didn't want to
dude.
get hit, standing up. So, you know what I did? Because I was like, I thought I was Rampage. I like to slam people. I like to pick people up, try to slam them. And I'd gas myself. And then, so I go, you know what? I just let the fight go. I warmed up super hard. Victor even talked to me 2 years ago. Dude, I remember how hard you warmed up. Because I was so I wanted to win so bad that I knew in wrestling from when I cut weight, I don't even think we weighed in. We were the same size, but I don't remember us weighing in. But I remember in wrestling, I did the best when I gasped before the competition. So I had to cut weight, 3-4 hours of cutting weight, and then I would do the best in the tournament.
Was it like getting a second win? Your second win, you're the first win?
I needed more than a second
Wow.
win. I needed to go to exhaustion, and then I'm going to dominate.
Wow.
So I put myself in exhaustion. I warmed up for 2 hours.
Jesus.
I was like, I'm going to do this because I'm going to wreck this fool. Because my buddies were like, oh, Corey's fighting him. That dude's going to kick his ass. And I was like, oh, I'm going to book this dude up.
Man.
So they made it this way. So when he pulled guard on me, I nicely set him down. I didn't even slam him. I'm like, you want a ground fight? You get a ground fight. And all of a sudden, triangle, omoplata, comes, shoot, shoot, shoot. And I pulled out, and I just hit him with the Fedor overhand. I hit him with the Fedor, dude. And then the second one is coming. Here comes, the one hits, knocks him out. And the second one is coming. And Brian Emersol was the referee, and he tackled me into the mat. Because he was already out. I broke his cheek. I think I broke his cheekbone and everything. And I hit him with the second one, but I punched the mat, and hyperextended my arm because Brian tackled me. I was like, I was just going to kill him. He wanted a ground fight, so I gave him a ground fight. He wanted it on the ground, so I gave him a ground fight. He still writes me to this day.
Nice.
The opponent.
Hey.
I want that one back.
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
dude, you're 50 years old. Let it go. Not talking shit.
Right.
Let it go. Okay, so that was the changing point. That's when I went, oh, you can control it. Oh, you can control it. You can determine if you're going to win, if you're going to lose. And so that's when I went, oh, okay, let's, you can do this, you know, like you can go as far as you want. And then, but the problem was then my gym was taking off at that point. So I went from 0 to 400 members in under 2 years.
Wow. That's a big number.
And then,
Explosive.
dude, well, you got to remember, we were the only gym really in the area, besides one other jiu-jitsu gym. They were gi, we were MMA. And we trained with the gi, but that was our main focus. We were more MMA. And then, so we moved to a 5,000 square foot gym. And then things just kept going. And then right after, I opened a 9,000 square foot gym in Palm Springs. So I'm trying to train, fight. I was already running tournaments. I started my first tournament in 04. Grappling X started in 08. So I ran 50 to 75 tournaments before I did Grappling X.
Wow. That's incredible.
Because I went, whoa, I can run an in-house tournament here, and it does well. So I just kept cranking them out. Boom. But we were doing smokers. If you want to call them that, that's cool.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call them. I have footage of, who do you want? Who's in the UFC right now fighting for a title? Who do you want? Brian Ortega? Okay. I have him as a teenager wrecking adults. Oh, you want Sean Strickland? I've got it. He kicks the dude in the head and knocks him out.
Wow.
As a teenager.
Wow.
I have it all on the disc, you know, at the house. So we had all this footage. I have Aaron Pico as a teenager.
Wow, dude.
From all the footage.
Damn.
Because we were running the fights. Because we weren't just running. Any rules you wanted to come fight.
Yeah.
What do you like? Oh, you like the box? Cool. You like the box? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever rules you wanted to fight, you can
Nice.
come fight.
A
So
total
whatever you wanna call
combat. A total combat.
Whatever
Show.
you want to fight.
Yeah. So continue.
Because I had
Anything.
boxing guys there. I had kickboxing. So, oh, you want to fight kickboxing? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the way to do it, man.
Man.
Whatever rules you want to fight. Oh, you're scared? You want to do grappling? Cool. We can do that too.
See, that's perfect because then everybody can
We
operate where
would
they're
crank out
comfortable. And
50 to 70 fights in a night.
I always
you
wonder
serious?
why.
Yeah, do we go like start at 12 in the afternoon, go to like 2 in the morning? Of
I
fights?
always wonder how come more shows aren't like that. Like
Hey.
right now,
Right.
because I like
no,
it
you
all.
can't
I
do
like
because
it
of
all.
The commission.
Why do we
the
get-
commission? The commission. You can't do that.
is it because that's the sad thing is we always get bound to one rule set and then you're stuck.
can't
with
do it.
How
one
does
of those
Strike Force do it? I mean, Bellator.
Yeah,
They
but
did
they
the
bring in
kick-
2 commissions.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Well, no. It's one commission, but what they do is they run a hybrid show.
Okay.
You can do it.
Uh-huh.
You can do it, but it doesn't make any money.
Right.
But that's the thing is you can do it,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
to me, I'm the type of person like, I'll watch one boxing match, I'll watch one kickboxing match.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll watch an MMA fight, and I'll watch a grappling match in one night. I'll have my TV going crazy, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so all right, so then so you think of the time. So 06 was when the commission came out. So in between there, what kept happening was like you would have whoever was ahead of the commission. I mean, I can relive it and do that. Like, so you would have a period where this commissioner would be like, oh, you could do this or you can't do that. Oh, you guys, it never was legal. Never was illegal. Right? Didn't get told to stop. You know? So then we go, okay, well, what rules can we do? Oh, pankration. Okay, so we start doing pankration, whatever you want to call it. Open hand to the face. Cool, okay. Now we did open hand to the face. Close to the body. And then, oh, you can't do any strikes to the head. Okay, so drop the open hand to the head, close to the body. And then whatever. And then commission would come, commission would go. Commission would come, commission would go. So if you actually look at it, I think we cranked out pankration all the way to 12 or 13 before I was like, whatever. Camo came along.
Yeah.
And what happened was then USFL or whatever his fight league thing is went to the commission. Everybody's like, why don't you go do it? I don't want to be a governing body of anything. I want to be a promoter. I actually am not a promoter. I want to be a facilitator to people who want to compete. That's it. I don't promote. Promoters like to lie.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
And so I can't lie to you. You know, I can't go, oh, that's going to be a great matchup for you. Watch this.
So
It's
some
going to be
bullshit.
funny. That's going to be funny because you sold a lot of tickets. I'm going to let you smash this, dude. So, so now at that time, okay, so I was still cranking out fights because I was taking killers now to WEC. And I was taking killers. So do you remember Fernando Gonzalez? Oh, he still fights in Bellator.
Yeah, yeah.
I had him since he was a little kid training. And I think he was 8-1 with me. We took him to WC and he wrecks Alex Stabley. Gives him like 47 stitches in the head. I watch Alex Stabley's fighting style and I go, here's what you do. Here's how you wreck him. And he just wrecked him. And then Scott, Reed, all these guys are like, dude, you're putting out killers. Our gym had like belts from, I think in a 3-year period, I think we went 21-1 in pro MMA. We were just wrecking people. But that's a full-time commitment to that. And that's adult babysitting. Are you going to make weight? Are you going to do this? It's so not fun. It's not what I wanted to do. So it was Tuesday afternoon. Chris Ronquillo calls me and goes, hey, Robert Breslin dropped out of the fight. He blew out his knee, hurt his knee or whatever. They need to find an opponent for Poppies. And I called Christian right then. No, I called Scott Adams. And I go, hey, Scott, let me have the fight.
Madman.
Scott, let me have the fight. I knew in my mind that was an easy fight for me. Really? I knew. I go, I can't fight 5-5s. In my mind, I got a round or two in me. I ain't going 5-5s.
How long had it been since you had fought?
A week? I don't know.
Oh,
Fernando kicked my head off the day before.
Oh,
you
you're
know.
still in fight
no,
shape.
I was not in fight shape, but I was in fight shape. You know, like I was training every day with killers.
Yeah.
And I just got head kicked from Fernando and stood straight up. I was like, ooh, I guess I can still take a shot to the head. Haven't went out yet. Never been knocked out yet. So Fernando was already fighting the show, so I was leaving the next day no matter what. And this is what Scott straight up said. Not lying. Nope, Tribe won't like that. Tribe will not like that. You got to call Christian. I go, Christian. I call Christian, whatever I say. Scott calls me back an hour later and goes, I don't know how you did it. Don't know how you did it, but you got the fight.
Wow.
I don't know how you talked Christian into it.
And that card was a stacked card.
Watch. This is how I talked him into it. They went on Sherdog. That's it. They went, oh, he's 4-4? Okay, cool. That's why they took it.
Wow.
They didn't know about the other 30 fights I had.
Damn.
Because they were not on there.
That was the advantage of the dark era.
Yeah, because you didn't know
Wow.
that this guy had every weekend just went and thrown down.
Yeah, but
for the last 10
that
years.
card was, if you look at that card now, if you know.
All
you're like,
WC cards were that good.
motherfuckers, you know, like if you.
Yeah, the dudes with the talent.
Dude, those were scary dudes.
Yeah.
Okay, watch. Okay, so I beat him. 47 seconds. Okay, tapped him. But see, that's what people didn't realize is I was better off my back. Everybody thought I was a top player. I am good. I'm really good on the top. But I also will pull guard on you. I'll pull the Damian Maya on you. Or I'll pull the Jacare and pull guard on you. I don't pull the sweep, though. I pull the tap. And so I had already been pulling that move off, that exact move, since I was a white belt.
What move did you get him with, though? 47 seconds. What'd you do?
Well, you want to call it the Frank Mir? I don't care what you call it. Pete
The
Williams.
arm, yeah. We were just
Whatever.
we were just
I
talking
call
about
it
this move.
Pluto,
Yeah.
but if you ask, if
Frank
you
Mir,
if you ask Eric Paulson the name, he'll tell you a different name.
Yeah.
I'll take his name. He knows way more than everybody else.
Oh, hell yeah.
So how I actually learned that was my first coach that was teaching me MMA was teaching me. They were dog brothers, so they're stick
Dog
fighting.
brothers.
They were stick fighting.
Lester.
Yeah. Lester taught me stick fighting, and
Nice.
he showed me snake disarm. And so I was going boom block, and I'd take the arm like that, and then you blunt end them with the stick. And so what I started to do is I was like, oh, I kind of like that, and so I actually got it from the Dog Brothers.
Nice.
That move. That's how I learned it. And then but why I was really good at it is I had a blown out knee, so I played half guard with a butterfly guard or half guard with a Z guard, and you would underhook me and I'd crank your arm.
That's what I use right now a
Half
lot.
guard, Z guard.
The half guard with the arm or the hook. I mean, for me,
I have a whole series on it. What's funny is it makes the rounds every once in a while, and then all of a sudden you'll pop up on a site, and they'll be like, "Oh, if you guys want a good instructional, I have it on YouTube."
Yeah, because right now I have a blown out knee.
And so
And
I
my
couldn't
groin.
see. That was my problem. Is in that period, I had a blown out knee the whole time. And so I had actually fallen in a hole at work and ended up with 2 knee surgeries. So I actually had stopped like completely training, except for I was still teaching. So I was learning how to roll with one leg. And I'd stick my leg up underneath. And so, because you couldn't jam it and you couldn't pull it after all my knee surgeries. And so what I did is I actually went and found a doctor. I was going to have him chop my leg off. Real talk.
Serious?
Real talk.
That's going all in.
I was like, at least, because it was in so much pain, I couldn't walk anymore. And so I was like, well, at least if I get it chopped off, at least I can still roll. At least I can still roll.
Oh, man,
I don't need
that's
one
some
leg to roll.
next level gameness, dude.
And so I went and I found this old doctor, and he was an old Polish dude, and he goes, hey, he's like,
He ain't worried about losing his
I didn't give a shit about
certification.
my leg. Okay, so he goes, have you ever tried Synvisc? And so I was like, I don't know. And so I paid $800 or whatever, and he injected it into my knee. It's liquid cartilage injections into your knee, and I went and ran that day, and I
Holy
never had
shit.
another issue again, and it
No
healed
way.
itself. Real talk. And that's if you actually look at Javi's career,
Oh yeah,
These two.
yeah.
4 knee surgeries. I think he had 3 ACL, 2 ACL, and meniscus on that one knee. And I had told him to get the same injection, made it all the way back to the OC, and beat Joe Stevenson.
Yeah.
That's how that happened.
Right. I
That's
remember
how that played
Javi's.
out.
I remember Javi's because I used to talk to Javi's. I think it was
Alberto
his-
Crane, you remember that? He stepped and he blew out. Javi blew out his
Yeah.
knee, and he fought the whole fight, and he won that fight. But they chipped him. But whatever.
Yeah.
I can't watch it to the day. It makes me cry.
Yeah, I
almost.
know what you're
I'm
talking
like,
about.
Just watching it, and then Romy carrying him back to the corner after the rounds. Okay, so I think I had already went through my knee issues, and I was good by then. My knees were kind of quit by then with that. So I was back training, but I don't know. I never needed the money because I had a career in work, so I wasn't fighting for the money. Oh, okay. So I missed the Joe Stevenson story in there.
Big Daddy.
When I fought Joe Stevenson.
Was he like 175 pounds, maybe 180?
You want the real story or you want the modified one?
Oh, I want the
Okay.
real
The
story.
real. Always
story.
the real.
Because so when I was still in Fresno, so it was like 2002 or 3. And I was fighting, but I kind of backed off a little bit because I was wanting to train. I wanted to get better. And because I wanted to see what I could do because they were already starting the lower weight classes by then. So I was like, okay, cool, this is going to work out for me. So I'm only 150 pounds. 45 would be great for me because I don't have to cut. I just walk in, weigh in pretty much. And I tried one time just to see if I could make 135. That wasn't a weight class. And I couldn't make it. I got to 140 and my body just... I just
cutting
stopped.
to
I just
103.
stopped. Yeah, I could not do it. And I was so deadly sick afterwards. So I knew I couldn't make below 140. So I was like, 45 would be perfect. I hadn't fought at 45s really yet. So this was almost 15, 20. I don't know how many fights in. I'd never fought there. I'd fought 55 and above. Because there wasn't. They just, this was the
Yeah.
time. Even the UFC didn't have 55s.
No.
Okay, so UFC 40. Jens Pulver was the UFC champion at 155. This is before they dropped the weight.
Yeah.
And Javi was ranked 3 in the world. He just beat Rumina Sato in Japan. So it was Jens, BJ, Javi. And Javi was going to come over and fight him. And Jens Pulver's UFC jacket was sitting there, and I almost took it to give it to Javi. That's how bad I wanted Javi to smash him. But I was too scared that Little Evil was going to tear me up. That's a real story, too, right there. I was like, I'm going to take that. I was like, oh, but Tim Sylvia, these guys are kidding.
Yeah,
me.
dude.
I'm here by
That was a
myself.
squad back then, too.
I
dude.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
man.
Hughes,
everybody's
Sylvia.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Okay, so I'm living up here, or living in Fresno, but I kind of backed off of fighting a little bit because I was training and I was getting good training. And I was like, oh, maybe I could do this at my real weight class. And so all of a sudden, someone calls me one day and they're like, whoa, that's crazy. You're fighting Joe Stevenson. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't know anything about this. They're, no, bro, I got the poster right here on the poster.
The old poster trick.
Yeah, they did it to me. They
I got to do it
too.
now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be a bitch. I'm going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. So an hour later, Ted calls me. I'm like, dude, really? That's some shady stuff. I'll give you $200. I'll give you. I got $300. That's what I ended up getting.
You know what? It's funny because the first 3 Ultimate Fighters, I've seen all these dudes fight, and like people didn't know who they were. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, you got Joe, you got Jason Von Flo, you got
Diego Sanchez.
all these people. Yeah, Diego Sanchez from the King of the Cage days.
Yeah.
Lower.
Oh, dude, it was just so crazy those cards, you know.
Yeah,
those were-
there were killers. Okay, so whatever. So here's actually how the fight went.
So you're on the poster. You got to fight.
I have to fight. 2 weeks later, I fought him. No big deal. Okay. So I guarantee he'll make 155. Oh, whatever. Okay. So the night before, there was a King of the Cage in Saboba, and what they did. Oh, he weighed in down here. He weighed in down here. He shows up at freaking 185 pounds. Whatever. Yeah. Now, what are you gonna do? You can't back out. You cannot back out. Because this is what they'll do to you. You want to fucking fight or not? That's what they'll do to you. They'll call you on it like that in front of everybody. So you can't even say anything unless you just want to get blasted. I mean, so I fight him. Someone had told him that I said I was going to outbox him or something. I don't know. And so he's going around telling everybody, I'm going to knock him out on his feet. I'm going to knock him out. After I threw the first punch and everything, he shoots. We tie up. I pull guard because I'm like, I'm going down. So I'm working, and I never got hit one time in that whole fight. He picks me up, spins me, shoots me right towards the cage door that's unpadded, and runs my head right into the pole.
Jeez.
About a minute or so in. So if you actually look online, I think it says TKO submission or something like that. No, that's
For an
not what
object.
happened. Yeah.
For an object.
But see, back then, so Herb Dean actually just stopped, like, whoa, what the hell's happening? It actually wasn't hurt, but they just stopped it.
Yeah.
All my buddies were like, dude, I wanted to see how that fight was going to play out. I think I could have taken the decision. I don't think I could have beat him in their own deal.
Right.
I don't think he would have smashed me like everybody thought he would have. I was pretty dang tough by then. But whatever. So.
But man, you were in there with some
Killers.
savages.
For 300
Killers.
slots.
And that's like, okay, those guys on the way to the big show,
Yeah.
they're even
Savages.
meaner. They're savage. They're
Well,
hungry.
because,
You see how they beat people up? Like you look at like Diego, like just violently
See, Diego
destroying people.
and,
Some poor son of a bitch in a pair of Vans.
Don't make fun of Shad. Smith. That's my
See,
homie,
of course you would
dude.
get that.
Oh,
I know.
Shad's my buddy, dude.
But how
Well,
do they, that's the best
thing.
story.
Okay, so you got Joey Villasenor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, these was killers.
Yes.
And so, like, that's when I first started seeing Greg Jackson's guys show up because they had these killers, and I'm like, ooh, those were their homegrown guys. Because you actually look at who did Greg Jackson put out first? Those were those guys. Those were his first only guys. Because those other guys were transplants.
It's like Jackson 1.0.
Yeah.
Those were
Joey,
his
those-
original guys.
Joey was man. Joey fought everybody.
Villasenor was
every
scary.
promotion.
But I already seen that. I already seen Romy smash Joe Stevenson. And I got to see Romy every day train. So I kind of knew where everybody was in the world, like of what level everybody was. So, like, when Javi was going to fight Joe, I already knew what was going to happen. I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. I'd already seen it. Not necessarily them go, but him go with him and him go with him. And I knew what everybody.
Yeah.
So I already knew.
Yeah.
I was already predetermined. That's what I tell the kids I train. It's already predetermined in the room. The tournament's just a ceremony. How hard you trained in here, it's already done. It's done.
Wow.
Predetermined right in here in this room. If you don't like the outcome, change it. Train harder here.
Damn, that makes sense.
That's cool.
That's kind of what's missing in some of the MMA classes I've been to lately.
Sure.
It's like they don't have that same
Yeah,
mentality.
but- okay, so I perfect example. I was at, because I build a lot of mats for people. So I go around, I build mats for gyms. Okay. And so I'm sitting there and I'm working on the floor, and this young kid, 25 years old, goes, I'm fighting my first camo fight, and kid's freaking 6'2", probably 155 pounds, can make it. And he can strike and all this stuff. He goes, I'm just going to take him down. And I'm going to smash this dude off his back because I can't get knocked off someone hitting me off the bottom. And if you listen to Chael, what's the hardest he ever got hit? Damian Maia off his back. I go, not true, dude. I have knocked people out off my back. And the hardest I ever got hit was Dan Henderson hit me with an uppercut from the bottom. Popped me up, boom, and hit me.
Damn it.
And almost popped my eyeball out. So, no, dude. So that's the problem is there's no I'm not going to say no coaches. There are limited coaches teaching ground and pound. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of the problem.
That's the dying art right there, man.
Because I go back to train with the original guys, the original Team Quest guys and stuff, and I put my head right in the center, and I do it, and they go, whoa, where'd you learn that from? I'm like, well, first day I walked in there, those guys tried to take my head off. So I put my head in the center, and I fucking kept it there, you know? So, no, I know what you're saying. It's jiu-jitsu for jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. It's boxing for boxing. It's kickboxing for kickboxing. And then that's when the special person, Matt Hume, takes a kid. That's, if you look at it, he got to take an athletic kid and grow him into Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah.
That's where it happens. Yeah. So
True
you're going to see
talents.
it still happening.
Yeah.
You're going to see kids coming up now that have been groomed that are going to annihilate the, like, if you had, St. Pierre's a freak, but they'll smash him in 10 years from, like, that St. Pierre of that time, that till 10 years, they're going to annihilate him. Because you think Lomachenko is something special?
Right.
His dad is the only one doing that? No. No. We're sitting there every day like a wizard. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. I've watched the best kid jiu-jitsu for the last 15 years. Right. I can tell you what every best kids team is in California. There's 500 gyms. I can tell you which one has the best kids team. And I tell every parent, why do you do jiu-jitsu? If it's to win the worlds, sorry, there's no professional jiu-jitsu. Give up now. Yeah. If you tell me, it's because I just want it for self-defense. Perfect, thank you. Okay, do it for self-defense. Do it because it's fun. If you think you're going to make a living out of it, no, quit now. Okay, if you don't start your kid cross-training at little, you know how Lomachenko's story, right? His dad,
dancing.
Yeah, no,
what did he do before that? At like 4 years old, he put him into boxing. So he taught him how to throw a punch, then put him into Ukrainian traditional dance, then brought him back to boxing. Yeah. And that's what people are doing. They're cross-training. Boom, boom. So here's the truth. If you want to grow somebody in being number one at MMA, here it is, okay? I'm going to go to boxing, and I'm going to win. Ben Askren says 70% of wrestling matches. Okay, perfect. We'll go 70%. We'll use Ben Askren because he does this theory. Okay, so I'm going to go win 70%. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to go win of wrestling. Now I'm going to go win 70% of boxing. And I'm going to win 70% judo, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. And now, what do you want to fight? What do you want to fight? Yeah, because now you're a striker. I've got 70% of everything. You have 100% boxing, no strike, no ground. Yeah. Oh, you're dead. Because I can determine where the fight takes place. Right. So if I'm getting outstruck, I can control everything. So if you actually watch, what Anderson Silva used to do was amazing. And what he was doing, and it took me a long time of watching him to figure this out. And what he was doing was he was taking you through techniques. Okay? So he would take you through a technique. He would go, do you know this technique? And he would throw a feint at you and see if you knew the defense. And he'd go, check, check. And he was checking you, check, 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 check. Because if you're good at jiu-jitsu, you can do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So if you reach up here and they don't defend it, you don't know how to stop an armbar. Or this. And so that's what actually he was doing.
He was building a file on you.
He was putting a code together in his mind of he knew what your weakness was. And so like you plug into the matrix, if you actually look at that, and it's like downloading this art. Okay, cool. My son right now, 8 years old, I can take him in and fight boxing rules. I have never had him spar. Like really spar, like because you got 1,000 brain tickets. When do you want to cash them in? Mm-hmm. You got 1,000 of them.
That's
whatever
the
number is.
Yeah.
When do you want to cash them in? Do you want to cash them in when they're 8 years old, or ever? That's his choice if he wants to cash them in. Yeah. Now, he could fight boxing. He knows the rules. That's all you have to do. You have to study the rules, whatever the rules are, and so, because then that determines what things you can do. So. Learn the style. And that's it. And then by the time you've built this puzzle up, then I can take them and go, all right, we're going to compete boxing today. Because here's the problem with these guys with the jiu-jitsu, and they go, oh, we're not going to do leg locks. Okay, cool. You just gave yourself a weakness. Because how long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
Gi jiu-jitsu over 10 years.
Okay, perfect. Can you do leg locks?
Yes, I can.
Which, everything? Twisting?
Yeah, I can do everything.
Okay, cool, perfect. Train jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
How long?
Year.
Okay. Leg locks?
No.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. Can you do arm bars?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, easy. Okay, so we're going to compete white belt rules, no leg locks.
What's that?
We're going to compete white belt rules. You two are going to roll, no leg locks.
Okay.
Easy?
Yeah.
You can do it? Okay, cool. Thank you. You roll. Awesome. Okay, now watch. I come up to you, okay. So today we're going advanced rules. Ready?
Yeah.
You have to do leg locks. You're like, shit, I don't know leg locks. He can take
Fish
them
out of
away.
water.
He can take them away. You can't add them in.
Yeah.
Train everything. Teach everything.
Yeah.
He can do it. He can take them away. And that's another problem with jiu-jitsu, or a lot of these guys. They're so afraid. First day I walked in Millennia, I got freaking heel hooked. I learned real quick how to defend it. So if you actually watch a lot of these guys, there's no new techniques coming out.
On that note, real fast, when I first started training, I was training submission wrestling.
right.
So one of the first moves we learned were heel hooks. I went to my first
Good.
jiu-jitsu class.
Good.
I hit a straight ankle lock. No, what are you doing?
Straight
You're a
ankle.
white belt. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I don't know the rules of.
I know, right?
I was like, all right. So I felt like shit.
Here's the thing, okay? Coaches should be teaching it. You don't necessarily have to roll with it,
Right.
but you at least need to teach it.
Right.
I need to at least understand it.
And that's why I want to give credit to Darren for doing the biceps. I mean, the bicep slicer.
Okay.
I don't know if it's legal for you guys, but you need to learn to do the bicep slicer.
That's cool. Okay, so back to the story, actually, the fighting story. Okay, so take the Poppies fight, and I had enough striking to where I could survive. He would, if we were just gonna box, whatever, he could probably beat me. But all I had to get him is to engage me. So I'm gonna go to that wild style to engage me. I'm not gonna technically box him. I can't go 5 rounds and sit there and point. I can't 5 rounds because I didn't train for it. That's 25 minutes. Try to even fight 15 minutes. Try to fight 5 minutes. It's brutal. I've gassed so bad and just gritted down. I was like, oh my God, I hope this. I fought up in the mountains out to Porterville, and I was so tired. And his corner's like, keep going. He's on his back. He's like, keep going. Keep going. He's going to gas. And I looked up the guy, and I go, are you tired? He goes, yeah. And I go, boom, and I hit him in the mouth. So, like, I was like, I'm freaking dying, but he just admitted to me he's tired, so I'm going to keep pushing. I'd gas. I looked up my corner afterwards. I'm like, dude, you got to come get me out of here. I couldn't even stand up. So, no, 25 minutes is brutal. There's no way I could have done 25 minutes that day. So, 47 seconds. I ended up pulling guard, arm barring him. He didn't drop me with a punch. What he did is caught me off balance. I shot, and he clipped me, and it set me on my butt, and I reshot. And if you actually listen to the commentating of Frank Trigg, he's like, oh. He looked overzealous on that armbar. No. The truth was that I'd never hit at full speed before.
Really?
No, because you break someone's arm.
Yeah, I mean,
I only went jiu-jitsu rules. So when you get clipped in a punch, I was just like, go. So I had control before all jiu-jitsu times. I had probably submitted 30, 40 people in competition with it. But that was, I can pull hold and let you tap. But full speed MMA, I just got clipped. I was like, go. And he didn't know how to defend because it's a Chinese finger trap. You pull your arm out, it gets worse. You have to punch into it.
Yeah.
You can't Americana straighten your arm. You're going to get your shit broken, you know. So you have to, work your way out and stuff. So it's just a Chinese finger trap. And so when I hit it, if you actually watch the fight, look at Rai's face in the corner. He's like, because he's cornering him, he's like, because he was training with Uriah at the time. Okay. So fast forward. Now I'm a WEC 155 champion. Whatever. Okay. I didn't want to fight 55, so I was 150 pounds. Dude, Rich Clemente and all those dudes would have kicked my head off, you know. Like, those guys, I was not going to fight those dudes. Those dudes were 185 pounds cutting down. I'm looking at these dudes like, oh my gosh, you're as big as Nate Corey and stuff. Like, you guys are huge. Okay. So, or Rob, not Emerson, but Rob, the kickboxer.
Cayman? Oh, Razor Rob?
Razor Rob.
That was going to be like one of them I'm going to have
Really?
to fight. Dude.
Yeah,
I'm
Razor Rob, man.
Heck
like,
yeah.
that was the...
He's a WEC staple, man.
Dude, he would have kicked my head off probably, you know?
Yeah, Razor Rob. He was like the big name back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right there. So I'm not going to fight these dudes, you know? And that was still when, like, Hermes Franco was still there before he got into his stuff.
Yeah.
Now, these are huge, you know? These are big dudes.
Yeah.
You know, like, guys my size fight at 35s.
Hermes Franco's probably about as wide as his table, man.
I trained with him. I know, like, that's the thing is, like, every day I knew what level I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was honest with myself. I trained with Hani Yaya
Wow.
for 2 years straight. I know what level I was.
Wow.
So I knew where I stood in this world.
Wow.
It was easy for me to know.
And that's why I really wanted to have you on here real fast.
Yeah.
So people could see who's running this show, you
Dude,
know?
seriously.
All right, now go back to your story.
So back to that. So when I'm training with Hani Yaya, whatever happened in the room happened in the room. Not going to say. Okay. But I'll tell you this. By that, so Hani had just won ADCC 05 and choked out Leo Vieira, north-south choke. Okay. So, now I knew what level Javi was because he wrecked me. And I just went with the world champ. So I knew what level everybody was. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I got it. I knew exactly what level I was.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, my style's perfect because I can stop the takedown. And if I don't want you on top of me or if I don't want to go to the ground, you cannot take me down. So I knew where I was. And so now this was 06. Now that's when the Poppies fight happened. Cinco de Mayo 06. Okay, so now the WC was in the process of selling to Zuffa.
Yeah.
And now California had just legalized MMA. I think March of 06 was when that strike force. One was on Friday, one was on Saturday. March, right? March 15th.
Frank Caesar thing.
Yeah, okay. So this is now June of 06. This is like right around, there might have been another show between March and June, but I'm pretty sure the WC was third or fourth show in California.
Yeah, there was a UFC LA, I believe, I want to say.
But it was-
59, UFC 59, yeah.
When was it though?
April 2006 because I
Okay.
Started a job that month, and the main event was
St.
Forrest losing
Pierre-
a split decision to Tito.
I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
I
there
went-
too.
I went to
was
all
there for
these.
Sure Dog, I think, or somebody.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good times. That was back when Sherdog was good.
Yeah, exactly.
I was there in Fight Finder and click.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
I could play that game.
Sure Dog was the Bible,
Hey.
dude, back then.
He was.
Oh, you want to do the game?
The 6 degrees of Jeremy Horn.
You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do
You
it.
want to? Who's gonna win? You pick two fighters. Who's gonna win? Let me get.
He's pretty tough.
I know. I better stretch it out.
Do it.
So we'll connect.
Give me fighters. Give me fighters.
Oh, man, let me think.
Give me a hard one. Give me a hard one.
hard.
Okay, you want to
I
connect
pl-
to Jeremy Horn?
No, that's too freaking easy.
Okay, how
That's
about we connect
weak.
to?
No, pick two random fighters. Two random people. I don't
Okay.
care. Anybody.
How about Jay Jack?
Oh God, who the hell is even Jay Jack?
Okay, we'll
you
start
gotta
again.
get like at least someone that somebody
Yeah.
even knows.
Okay, we'll start. Okay, Chris Lytle.
Oh man, that's easy.
Chris Lytle to Cabbage Carrera. Move up a color.
Oh, that's
Saucy.
a
You
that's
like
a hard
that?
one,
No,
dude.
that's so
That's
easy.
saucy.
That's so easy.
Okay, Chris Lytle, Cabbage Carrera. Chris Lytle
Come on, dude. Too slow.
fought
Too slow.
Matt Hughes, who
Perfect.
fought.
Too slow.
Tim Silva. I mean, oh my
Well,
God,
Let
dude.
him do it, dude. Come on. He's too slow.
Okay.
I smoke you. I'm gonna light you up right
I know.
now.
I know.
gonna
I'm
light
gonna
you
like
up.
it. Okay, go.
Okay.
Chris Lytle to Cabbage
Too
Carrera.
easy. Too close in weight. Okay. I'm gonna take the lowest guy.
Okay.
Okay.
Go. Can you go from Uriah?
Uh huh.
Oh yeah, that's the Uriah to
Okay.
Cabbage.
Uriah to Cabbage. Perfect. Uriah.
Ivan Menjivar, George
Oh.
St. Pierre.
It's so easy, bro. It's so easy. Okay, you ready?
George's first fight.
I could do this
was.
so fast. You got to
Michael
stop.
Bisping.
Let me do
Okay,
one
hold on,
fast.
hold on.
Let me go
Rashad
fast.
Evans.
I'm gonna show you how fast this is.
Okay, let's see.
But he's already messed it up, though.
Sorry, dude.
You gotta let me do it. Let's pick
Okay.
Demetrius Johnson. We'll go
Okay.
the smallest guy.
Okay.
2. What's the UFC champion heavyweight right now? What's his name?
Stipe Miocic.
Okay, perfect. Let's go there.
Okay.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Demetrius Johnson fought, what's his name? Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz fought Uriah. Uriah fought Ivan Menjivar. Ivan Menjivar fought fought George St. Pierre, PJ Penn, Lyoto Machida. You can just keep going.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Or you go GSP to Bisping.
I can do it faster when dude, I can go, brrr, and then where I used to get people, I'd go, I'd pull a cage fighter out. I just smoke people. Dude, I played this on the way up.
Oh, solid, dude.
I play this every day.
Solid.
I still do it. Okay, so back to the fights. That's what you haven't done that for a long time.
No, I haven't, man.
Because nobody can do it anymore, huh?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, he hasn't even seen it before.
No, I haven't.
This is old school. My MMA account, the old school MMA TV account.
Yeah.
I got like 30 posts. I got an old school one. That's
Right.
it.
Lurker.
I was a lurker. I'd sit back and just watch.
I got a super lurker account. It's like 01 at the underground, and it's like 90 posts.
Yeah, I got one that's probably under 50.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, these guys are idiots. I'm just going to read. Okay.
So you're the weight classes are kind of
WC.
coming in fruition.
Yeah,
05,
well, no,
06.
because WC was doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had went to 35s yet, but they're still doing 45s.
Yeah. No, they had started
They didn't
45s
start
with
it-
Uriah in 07.
No, they did not. No, they did not, because Cole Escovedo was a champion. And
Right, but
before
Uriah
45.
beat him to take the 45s, didn't he?
So 135
No.
was Miguel Torres?
No.
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 Because I remember because I got hired by the UFC to cover the WEC in 07.
Are you going pre-Zuffa or?
No, this is Zuffa era.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking way pre-Zuffa.
Oh, okay. 06.
Before that.
Oh, that's
You're
okay.
right. That back, Cole was already the champion.
Oh,
back,
yeah.
way back, He was fighting people and stuff. So whatever, we could do that, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother deal. So it was the first show where WC left the Palace, and they were at Casino Morongo. Okay, Casino Morongo. Now I'm gonna fight, and the agreement we kind of made was, hey, I know you don't want to fight at 55s. Okay, cool. What I can do is you fight one fight at 45s, so we can introduce you to 45s, and then you fight Uriah for the 45 belt. Perfect. Awesome. That's what I wanted to do. That was perfect for me, because I was like, all right, that's a good fight for me. Awesome. So I was going to fight Jeff Wilmingham, Little Mac. And this was the very first show that WC ever did legal. I'm in this fight. I truly don't believe I ever fought professional fight. I never fought under commission. How can you say if you've never been licensed,
Right.
how can you say you're a professional fighter? I was never a professional fighter. I've never fought a pro fight. Still to this day, I've never fought a pro fight. Okay, so I go through the whole deal. I get licensed, okay? We do the weigh-ins, we do the press conference, we do the whole deal. I'm like second or third fight from the end. Get my hands wrapped, I warm up. Someone walks up and goes, hey, why are you warming up? And I go, whoa, what's up? And he goes, oh, commission scratched your fight. And I'm like, oh, man, I got all the trainers here because now I got to start paying people. I'm like, whatever. Okay, so my gym was just 45 minutes down the road. I had 400 paying members in my gym. I closed my gym. It was on a Thursday night. I brought and sold the whole deal out. Like, I brought the whole show. I didn't take a cut. I let them have all the money. Okay, whatever. So, needless to say, because the commission was so brand new, they didn't understand. Everybody didn't understand the blood work. He did the wrong blood test. The doctor did. Yeah. He took it from his finger instead of his arm. Okay, whatever. I'm not mad. Whatever. It's not the commission's fault. Whatever. It was, because this shit got turned in 3 months ago. You should have caught it then. But whatever. You're a brand new commission. You're 5 fights, 10 fights, I don't know, into this. And so, needless to say, they scratched my fight, and whole nother story trying to get paid. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not mad. Okay, so fast forward now, Ryan Bennett dies.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so they call me and they go, hey, we want you to fight Uriah. I said, 100% in. You're only going to get $50. Don't care. I'll take it. Okay?
Wow.
Scott called me, and then Christian calls me back. I don't remember. Christian calls me back, goes, hey, Christian Prino, calls me back, says, hey, Uriah doesn't want to do the fight, but he'll do a submission match. Whatever. Okay. I'll do a submission match. So, you got $50 no matter what. Okay. You didn't get a room, you didn't get no gas or anything. So I drive all the way to Fresno, bring all my guys, because I'm going to win this. No question in my mind, at that time. Because I knew where I was at in that level. Because I just rolled with Hani Yaya 2 days before. So I knew where I was in this world of jiu-jitsu. I just went with the world champion of my weight class. Okay, so, well, my first black belt I ever gave he wasn't a black belt at the time, but he was training with me and teaching with me, had just moved up to Uriah's gym and was training up there now. For whatever reason, I don't know. I start warming up. Okay, so we do the weigh-ins, we do the press conference, we do the whole deal.
And it's a submission-only match.
Now it is. Who was the main event that night? Come on.
Is this a WEC event?
That was the WC Ryan Bennett show. Who's the main event?
Well, give me a clue. Weight class. Date.
Heavyweight. Who took it? Come on.
Oh, not James Irvin against no.
Wes Sims.
Wes Sims. The Project.
The
Yeah,
gangly dude.
6'9",
Yeah. He actually fought that night for free, pretty much. Yeah, he fought for the $50 to give to Ryan Bennett. It was cool. Everybody came and did that. Yeah, it was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the guy he fought, but he wasn't a big name fighter. But I can't think of his name right
Okay.
this
Oh
minute.
yeah, that was the benefit show after Ryan and his family had the. Okay. I remember.
The accident. Okay, so I get there, did the press conference, did all that stuff. I start warming up,
And you
and
find
someone
it.
come up to me and goes, "Why are you warming up?" Oh, it's the second match from the night. No, Uriah pulled out. He's got a toothache. Okay, whatever.
Oh man, it's too bad.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, whatever. Fast forward again. Now we're into the time when Ultimate Fighter 155 is coming out. I'm still a WC champion at 155. A champion. They had multiple champions, but I'm one of their champions at 155. And so I get the call. All right, you're whatever. We're whittling it down. 8 are already in, whoever they were. 16 are going to fight. We're going to take the winners of those 8 and in. Okay, you're in the 8 that are in. So just get ready. You're leaving on this day, this time, whatever.
That's
Okay.
season 5, right?
Whatever the first season 155s was.
Yeah, I think it was.
I don't know. That sounds about right.
Was it with Nate Diaz one?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Who
I
was
think
on
it
the
was.
first
I think
one?
season 5.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
What
Gabe
year?
was on there. Gabe Rudiger and stuff.
Yeah, season 5 then.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
BJ Penn
No,
and
Millar.
Yeah. Okay.
no,
so
Melgar wasn't that one.
Was it that one?
I was, because I would go over, because Team Quest, Dan's gym was in my area too.
Yeah.
And now '06 they opened up their actual gym. Up until then, we trained out of the high school together, Temecula Valley High School. We'd go over there and wreck each other. Or they would wreck people. Not me, but they would wreck everybody. Yeah. So now I'm in full training camp to get ready to go to that. Okay? And Dean Lister is bringing his guys up from San Diego all the time. Because, I mean, dude, there's killers in this room every day. At that 3 o'clock pro practice is brutal. You want to fight? Oh, this is where you fight.
Yeah.
So if you think there's gyms not out there still fighting, oh, they're still throwing down.
Did you bring in Jocko Willink with him at all?
No, Jocko was still out till war and stuff,
Okay,
probably by that
okay.
time. He was still in the military. I know Jocko because his son, Thor, and all them competed
Yeah.
in my tournament. So,
Yeah,
no.
that's right. He's
But
born
no,
from-
no. I had never
He's
seen
already off the
Jocko
war
there.
by then.
I'd never seen Jocko come up there. And
Okay.
I didn't go to San Diego that much.
Yeah.
So, no, I never trained with Jocko. But Jocko's an amazing dude. I just know him because of the tournaments and because he's one of the owners of Victory and stuff. Okay, so this kid that was an Alaska fighting champion at 155 is getting ready for the tryout to fight in that group to try to make the final 8 to get into the house. And my male ego goes, I'm going to wreck this kid to show him that if he makes it in that house, you ain't going to beat me. So just tell everybody you ain't going to beat me. So I just beat the crap out of him during practice. But I was so overtrained by that point because I went back to back. That was a 3rd training camp without a fight. I was so overtrained by this point without a break. Because I went training camp, training camp, training camp.
Yeah.
And when people say, okay, when they say they train hard, they don't train hard. Here's a real training schedule. I woke up every day at 6 a.m. and I'd go to Gold's Gym. And what I would do was I would do 15-minute warm-up. Okay, I'd heard that you had to keep your heart rate elevated a certain percentage for 45 minutes straight. So I would do that. And then I would do weightlifting, and then I'd go sit in a sauna for 30 minutes every morning. It was an hour and a half. It took me an hour and a half to get through that. And then I'd go do jiu-jitsu from 10 to 11. Then I'd go do pro practice from, I don't know what it was, 2 to 3 at team class. Then I'd go to boxing from 4 to 5. Then I'd go teach my kids jiu-jitsu from 5 to 6, adult from 7 to 9. And not only would I leave my practice and I'd go do the cardio of every class to show everybody they had no cardio. So my gym, I would leave my practice, like when the dudes were rolling and stuff, or training, drilling, I'd go over to the kickboxing class and I'd do the cardio with them and smoke them all. And then I'd go back to Gold Gym at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night.
That's great.
And do the same hour and a half workout. That's what I did a day. And that's why I was overtrained.
Yeah.
Because we go party on the weekends too. I mean, we gotta get out the church. We gotta look for girls and stuff.
Right.
And so that was a real problem. I never ate right. I never did it. I just fought, you know. And so what happened that day was, I was trying to I beat him standing up, I beat him on the ground, I beat him on top, I beat him on the bottom. And then I had him overhook, and all the kid did is ripped his arm out and sat up, and my ribs went, shoop,
Oh,
boom.
shit.
And the kickboxing coach looks over and goes, "You all right?" I heard that, and I go, "I'm good." I went to sit up, and everything was shifting. And for the next 6 months, I couldn't move. Like every time I'd move my ribs, everything would just shift. And I go, you know what? Fighting's not for now. Fighting's not for now. And I was already opening the other gym and all that stuff. So fast forward, WC had already left. They're in Vegas now. This is 7. Palace Fighting Championship starts. Christian calls me, wants me to rematch Poppies. We negotiate the terms. I'm building my Palm Springs gym. I'm using my legs, my knees to push down the linoleum. I go, yep, I'll fight him again. Yep, you guys want that fight back? I'll fight him again. And then I was using my knees to push it. I got 2 days in training camp, and from the cut that I got in the linoleum, I got staff.
Oh,
I go, you know what? Fighting's not for me. And I just stopped. Never fought again.
wow.
That's what happened. Why? I just every time, like, I'd go train. So when I was in Fresno, I mounted triangle someone, and they bridged, and I bounced my head off the ground. And for the next 10 years, I couldn't turn my head. Because every time I'd turn my head, I'd drop to the ground. My wife, the first time we went out, we were in San Diego, I turned my head, and this is the first time she ever went out with me. I fall right off the stool, hit the ground, boom.
No way.
She's like, what the hell's wrong with you? I was like, my neck is so bad. To this day, you know when those guys were talking about their necks are fusing on their own? Like Bosser and those guys were talking about that. I can feel my neck doing it.
Wow.
I can feel the vertebrae fusing on their own.
That's what Pat Miletich said too.
Really?
Yeah.
They did the scan, and it fused itself. I can feel my neck doing it. Wow. I can feel the vertebrae fusing in there and growing. So, and then my back would go out, my neck would go out, my arms would go numb, you know. So yeah, that was it. And then by that time, I was full blown. What I was doing, how I started and I got the buildings, is I had military guys that would train with us. One was National Guard, one was Marine Corps, and they would take me down, and I would go to San Diego or Miramar, Camp Pendleton, 29 Palms. And I would train the military for free. I'd just go in and volunteer. And then one time, we were at the National Guard Armory in San Diego, and Captain Britton goes, hey, if you ever want to use my armory for events or whatever you want to do, you can use it for free. And I went, all right, it's time to start Grappling X. And so that was my first event. So my first event in San Diego was in National City at an armory on May 17th, 2008. And then I came July 2008, went to Fresno. And then I just started covering all the areas that I trained at.
So what did that, when you, I mean, you decide to do a tournament, What are the things you quickly learned to do and not do
Okay.
when trying to run a tournament?
75 in-house tournaments, I at least had an understanding. But you got to realize there was no programs either. There were no bracketing programs. They're
You're right.
barely starting to
Right.
get good now. So if you actually watch, I ran over 200 and about 40 events on paper.
Wow.
So I went in 2015, I took a step back with everything. I go, you know what? Fuck all the bullshit. Just run a tournament. Forget all the bells and whistles. Forget everything. I mean, the videos I actually have put a lot of work into.
Yeah.
I have 14,000 videos on
I know.
YouTube.
The videos are great though, man.
I know they're
I love
badass.
them, dude.
I archived 14,000 matches.
Then you
So-
guys have like your YouTube limit you hit, but you're so
Yes.
nice about telling everybody. Like, hey,
I know they balk me.
that's what
After
they do. They hate
no,
you.
dude, 50 during the daytime, but you can do 100 at nighttime.
Nice.
So I figured all this out. I had to buy so much crazy stuff to do this. And you have to be in the right program. You have to do the right thing. You have to have your computer set right. You have
It's
to have
looking
every-
good though, man.
Dude, it's a body of work, man. So you learn what to do and what not to do.
That was for fun.
Yeah.
The videos were fun.
Yeah.
Because I didn't charge for it. I didn't do anything. I was just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Just see if I could do it. Because everybody said they couldn't do it. So I was like, oh,
Right.
okay. Oh, yeah, you want to
challenge.
see it?
That's
You want
what
a
I love about
challenge?
it, though.
You want a challenge? All right, I can do it. And so IBJJF, nobody can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah.
They don't archive. Okay, show me where they're at. Yeah. Oh, you can go watch Bushesh's match. You know what's crazy? I have a little kid match that just took off the other day. Has 3 million views. Wow. Bushesh's match highlight finals has 700,000. I got a little kid match with 3 million that just took off the other day. So whatever. The truth was that I kind of already had a good understanding. So I tried a lot of things. Like it's a whole bunch of terminology that nobody would understand. I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. And I go, ooh, that works, that doesn't. This works, that one doesn't. 90% of the problem is if I could do every job, there'd be no mistakes.
Yeah.
I can't do every job. So what I try to do is train people, put them into place, and let them do their thing. And don't micromanage them. And walk
Nice.
away, and I come back, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh my God, you just let freaking 150 people in for free.
Hey man, I really hate to cut this
Yeah,
short,
this is good.
but man,
Yeah.
we could do another freaking
Hell,
hour and a
7
half like
hours.
nuts problem, dude.
Yeah.
So next time you come back into town, dude,
Yeah.
we got to get together and do this.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm gonna be at the tournament Saturday.
It's gonna be amazing.
Got some guys out there gonna be fighting from our team, and I can't wait, dude.
Yeah, perfect. No, I'll just end with 1 minute.
Okay.
I mean, really what I did in 15, I just took a step back and said, run a tournament. So I went 26 tournaments in a row without a major mistake. I mean, there was little ones, but now since we restarted, it's taken me 4 events with the new program to figure it out. And I just finally did Fresno without major mistakes. Wow. And so now I know how to run the program. Dude, I had to sit there 10 hours a day and click on the program and learn the program because I can't read. I really can't read, so I have to just click and click.
Well, I can say is,
it.
that, I mean, I did my first tournament last March, and
Yeah.
it was incredibly comforting to me. And the Grappling X is like, it was accurate, it was timely, it was updated, it was
Tried.
online, and I was because like the last thing I need to do is like some 40-something-year-old dude in a jiu-jitsu
Get
tournament.
smoke checked.
Yeah, you get smoke checked or like
Yeah.
before have to wait for 4 hours. So
Yeah,
I really
I love
thought it
it.
was awesome, and it's
Yeah.
it's to get people to compete. And I think
Nice, hell yeah.
that's what
That's what
counts.
it's about. That's all it's about. That's what the parents need to realize. They need to relax. If you want to, you want to keep your kid training, let
Yeah.
them have fun.
Yeah.
Don't put no pressure on them. Don't make them cut weight. Let them have fun. So, thank you guys.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah.
And all right, guys, how can people get a hold of you before we get out of here?
You know, that's a whole nother subject. You know, our website crashed. It got malware in it, and it ate itself away.
Oh wow.
And so we are for 2 years it's taken me to get it all back up. So grapplingx.com, the real website will be back up soon. You know, every time, just go grapplingx.com. Everything's Grappling X,
Right.
like our Instagram, everything.
YouTube.
Well, Grappling X TV on YouTube,
Yeah.
but everything else just Grappling X, you know. And so, you know, it's crazy. You can call our actual phone number, and someone will answer pretty much all the time.
Nice.
I tell her not to answer like after a certain time, but she's crazy. She'll still answer.
All right, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
And see you
thanks,
Saturday.
Yeah.
Solid, man.
All right, guys, we're out. Today's podcast is brought to you by Royal Star Inc. Custom T-shirts. Hey, guys, do you ever go out looking for T-shirts, but you can't find what you want? Or maybe you have an idea of something you want to put on the T-shirt? Or does your team not look like a team because you guys are wearing old logos, mismatching, different colors? That's not a good look. But Rudy at Royal Star Inc. got you covered. Hit them up for quality t-shirts, custom designs, fast turnarounds. They look great, they feel great. For sure, you've seen me rocking their gear before, and I'm going to tell you some of the best stuff I have. Follow them on Instagram at Royal Star Inc. Improving our world by improving our community, by improving ourselves. The mission at Redneck Family Jiu-Jitsu is simple yet global in the scope. They provide world-class instruction in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a fun, family-friendly environment. They want to help every student reach their full potential both as an individual and a contributing member to society. It's a fun place, so guys, if you want to get in shape, if you want to challenge yourself, bring your family in, bring your friends in. We'll see you there. We're Redneck Family Jiu-Jitsu, located at 1801 Taylor Road, Suite 10, right next to In-N-Out. Call 916-771-0525. Ask for Darren.